Hello everyone, Radar here with another grounded video. In today's video, I'll be going over my original main base, the base that started it all. I've had to make a few changes based on positioning of clay or the way these guys work now, the pallets, but we'll go over this. So I also had to change the boxes as well, and yes, that is a lot of boxes, but if you watch me stream, I load up my bases full of boxes. And this base originally had boxes all the way around. And they were floating because we could do it back then. Plus it had boxes at the mid-level. It had boxes on the floor. Like the whole room was just boxes. I definitely had a lot of boxes, as well as your armor rack. So there's a bunch of boxes in the back of it. Got your workbench. So basically it's kind of like a workshop. This is, obviously you see the little people on it. This is for if you have people joining, put their gear in here. And then we have, of course, decoration. Up top, we have some decorative areas, your armor dummies, and a little bedroom. Once again, these walls are not necessary. You can literally just put the bed in there or lean to. It doesn't matter. All the decorations are optional, as well as the balcony. Then there is a shed that I built for the spinners. This is when these spinners first came into the game. I didn't have a spot for them, so I built a little shed for them. Got the water collectors, the water tanks, and this one is a little crooked because of the floor. I may build that up and level it off with the rest of, like even it out a little bit. We'll see. A little bit of pallet storage. I think it's what, 3 grass and 5 weed stem. I have a building that, well, it's going to need a little bit of a ramp into the doorway. That doesn't want to take, but we'll get there. Maybe when I actually build it, we'll see about that. And of course, you have your 6 mushroom gardens in here, and then up top you have these 7 jerky racks. And this building is literally hanging out over the edge of, off the edge of the rock, cantilevered, so to take advantage of the grounded physics. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to clear off everything except the foundations. I will leave the foundations there. So for this foundation, before I clear it off, you count the walls in the back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 walls across, or 5 clay foundations across. Up this side where the doorway is also 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 more foundations. This is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see your four foundations. I just cut it in a little bit for a little bit of a different design versus having just a square building. And then these 2 stick out, so these are just 3. And of course the front porch area. All of this is decorative, not necessary, but I left it. I liked it. So let me go ahead and pause it, and I'm going to clear out everything except foundations, and I will be back. Alright, I'm back. Now you see I've got all the buildings down. I left all the foundations. I adjusted this foundation so it would have the little ramp, the little walkway up. I raised this foundation up just so it would be level. The water will be out here, but we'll get to that point in a minute. Let's get started on the main base, or the main building. Now this is where the stairs were. That's why I left the scaffolding there. The reason there's scaffolding and not clay is because it was giving me issues getting the clay to lay down. So I just went and put the scaffolding down. So the back wall was solid. We're going to go just a weed stem wall all the way across. 2 high, 5 wide. We're going to delete the one that just randomly decides to go wherever it wants. Now it was solid walls, 3 forward on both sides. And luckily this area, if you choose to build in this area, there are a good amount of weed stems in the area. The one bad thing about the area is there's a thistle plant right there. And thistle plants, especially that one I'm looking at, have mosquitoes in them. Excuse me, I need something to drink. I'll put a link in the description below for easy ways to kill mosquitoes, because they are easy to farm if you know the right technique and the right strategies. Now, we're going to go windows across the rest of the front. Remember, there was that front area of clay is just like the porch. And the entire second row was weed stems. Like so. Now, I'm not going to put in all those boxes you saw, but I will put in some. Now, the way I made sure they were in a nice straight line was I laid out a wall. and then put the blueprint in behind it. Well, obviously this is creative, so there's no blueprints. You know, getting them as close as possible. Going all the way across. Now, that's only needed for the bottom row, because it's kind of hard to see the line in the clay, because it all kind of blends together. For the next row, you have the shelf. I don't know where that went. Also, too, make sure that you build all the way across before you do the next row up, or else you're not going to be able to get a box underneath there. You see that box does not want to go underneath, it wants to go above onto the shelf up here. So build from the bottom up. So complete the bottom row of boxes, at least get the blueprints laid down. I don't mean complete like build them. Get the blueprints laid down at least before you put a shelf above them. And then the same thing. So we'll go 3 rows of boxes and turning them long ways, orient them however you want. Obviously turning them this way, sideways, long ways, however you want to call it. You can fit more. So now I'm going to go ahead and just finish off the shelves, just so at least they're done, because they're fast. There. And that would be solid boxes like you saw at the beginning of this video, where I had row upon row of boxes. Now, we're going to put some lights. I like to use the center board right here. Same thing on this side. Now for this, I find the middle of the second wall, since it's 5 wide, and the middle of, well, if you're coming from the right, the second wall as well. That way your lights are spaced nicely. If you don't like the dark spot in the center, which just doesn't get too dark at night, you can always put another light. And as we saw earlier, I had just put a bunch of weapon racks here. I mean, there's a lot more than 8 weapons, but I just grabbed some, and apparently that doesn't want to go on the wall. You see I have several weapons on me. I'm just not putting them on the wall. There, you have your weapons on the wall. And then, like I said earlier, the 3 boxes up here in the front, in case you have friends coming to visit, have a box where they can just, when they leave, put all their stuff back in the box. That way, if a different friend comes to visit, you can let them use the same gear. Because when someone leaves with the gear still on them, they take it with them. Now, before we mess with anything else on the inside, I am going to go ahead and do this outside area right here. I had issues earlier getting some of the stuff to lay down when I had the workbench right up against that wall. So we're going to go scaffolding all the way up to the even top part of the building. 1 scaffolding here, and then it's just stairs. And at the very top, this grass matches the way the shelves are going. Now, to hide the scaffolding, because I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks, I'm going to put walls in. The sturdy wall that has the diagonal beam across it, that matches the way the stairs are going. And then this is just going to make it look like it wraps around. That one won't go for whatever reason. Okay. But we'll have a little weird open spot. And then that there, put that there. At the very top. There. Now, that's as far as I'm going to go with that for the moment. We'll go around here. Also, too, while I'm standing next to him, I put the trail marker right there. Now we're going to come in here. Throw down some more lights. Those are technically right there. And 2 lights on the outside. Now, because this is more like your work shed warehouse type deal, workbench obviously, making smoothies, might be a good spot because you can access it from the outside. If you come out of the mushroom shed, you can come straight to this through the window, and you can probably actually put it a little closer to the window. That way it's very easy to access from the outside edge. Now you can still put more stuff in here. This whole second row right here, you can put decorations, you can put more shelves like that and wrap the room in boxes. You know, it's all up to you. It's your build. In the center here, I'm kind of always a fan of having decorations in my world. You know, a little table. Not much. So that's pretty much the bottom area. Is basically storage, weapon storage. You can put more weapon racks over here even. You know, if those aren't enough, if you want to display some of the, say, the rotten stuff as well. I know that sounds weird saying let's display the rotten stuff. You can put more weapons over here. Like so. And I have more that I could put, but I didn't make any more. Now we're going to go up to the house portion of this. Oh yeah. I like decorations. Now we'll go up the stairs. And on the stairs, as you see, it's starting to get kind of late in my game. One thing I did miss was that. And then we will come back with a little light. Another little light. Light up here at the top. Okay, there. And then we will go with the floor. And yes, I do see that I put one outside of the building. I will delete it in just a second. I still have a random floor right here that I need to delete too. I almost forgot about that. And then part of this build will also be a little build to get up here off that rock. So that'll be like one of the final things I do. Hopefully I don't forget. Now this whole second level will be just window walls. Now we'll say when I originally built this, I did build it in multiplayer. I had help from a couple of friends and my wife. But I have since moved that base to a different building altogether, which was all solo built. I'm going to go ahead and get this bed thrown down because it's about to be sleep time. I'm going to put the bed in the corner. Okay. Go ahead and put a few lights around it. Gotta have your nightstand. Oops. Now for this one, I went with the walls, the arrow pointing out. And since this kind of matches the rest of these walls, I put that there. Might even be a good idea to put a light right there. No, never know. I did put some signs on this side, just, you know, decoration never hurts. I need more signs in creative. So. And it's about the time to sleep. We're going to do that. There we go. Now, before I do the roof, I want to make sure I lay out everything on this floor before I touch the roof. Because building is being weird, where if you have something close to it, above it, like if that roof would have been right there, that armor dummy would not have let me put it so close to the wall. I do have these facing out on purpose, so before someone says they're backwards, they are not. That is purposely placed that way. That way when you access one, you swing out the window and look through like that. Now, we're going to grab the square roof corner. Going to put down a couple of those. Like so. The regular roof does not go right there. Try that one more time. yep, that one right there. And one final one right there. The interior roof corner. Now, we did have a balcony out here. At one point, I did have a bounce web tower on top of this building. So this was kind of my way up to that area, since I had built this long before zip lines were a thing. Now, one thing I do realize I forgot was the chairs on the inside. We'll see how that goes. I may delete a little bit of a roof, but we'll see. Apparently, it's going to be just fine. Nothing wrong with a bit of decoration. And obviously lights. Now we just got to do the actual roof pieces on the top, making sure that they are oriented in the same direction as the floor we're standing on. When I say roof pieces, it's more of a ceiling. There. So that is the main building of this base. There is a lot of space. You can add more stuff, or you can make it a little smaller if you want. But I do like the idea of having a big warehouse style work shed down here, like a workshop. Now we're going to go over here across the way. Now for this, to get that spacing just right and make sure that it was square to the building it's sitting next to, I literally just put down one of these. I came over here and I laid this out. So off the edge of the little ramp here, I used one more foundation to make sure that that was square. It doesn't look that way, but that's because this is kind of going into the rock. But it is actually square to the building next to it. Now we're going to go with the windowed stem walls. We're going to build our little shed. Remember leaving that edge over there open. Like I said, I raised it up a little bit just so that everything would sit on it nice and flat and even. I didn't like the crooked look. I do this in first person for the precision. And then we'll come forward with 3 more. I don't want to put them too far back because I want to be able to reach that one in the corner. And I think 12 might be enough. I don't think I have any more than that in any one base. We're going to throw in the lights real quick. And this is such a small shed, it doesn't take a whole lot of lights. So 3 should do the trick. We will grab the square roof corner. We will then delete said square roof corner and try again. That's better. And then to just kind of close off the front edge of the shed, little triangle walls. Now, what I originally did was I put the big ore weaver head right here because, well, it's a silk. This is where you make silk rope. You can also make crude rope. Ore weavers. Makes sense to me. Next to it is where I had my water tanks. So this little building is sitting on, it's 2 foundations front to back and 3 across the front. 2 of them, the 2x2, is for the spinning wheel shed, and then the other 2 sticking off the side are for your water tanks, which seem to be floating a little bit. Now, coming off of those, we'll do the water, the dewdrop collectors. I would also make sure that if you're going to build them, a couple of them, make sure you put your character in between them. just so you can make sure that you can easily walk through there. That is kind of close, but you can fit. So, depending on how many people, how often you plan on doing multiplayer or things like that, you may not need more than 1 or 2. I did 3 just because. And obviously, I'm going to surround them with lights so that if at night I need to get a drink, it's very easy to see this area, and I don't accidentally walk off the edge of the rock here, because a bombardier beetle lives down there. There's some spiders that live over there. Like I said, there's a mosquito that lives over here, and a stink bug that spawns underneath this rock, but he sometimes wanders off to his buddies over there. All right, let's do the storage for the pallets. As soon as I find the walls. I would put the walls in first, and then we're going to start at the bottom with the grass pallets, so that because it has changed the way we can stack stuff in here a little bit. You can see I had 3 squeezed in here earlier. Maybe if I rotate them. Let's try that. So, with the ropes going right to left, or going horizontal to our character versus vertical, we can easily put those there. And then I'm just going to put in the little halfway up shelf. And the reason I'm doing the grass on the bottom instead of the weed stems, which is originally how I originally had it, was 2 rows of weed stems underneath grass. The tops of these weed stem pallets are blocking grass flooring from being built on top of it. I'm going to show what I mean in just a second. But you can still put 5 in there. It's not too bad. You can always do more if you wanted. But if you notice, it will build next to it, but it will not build on top of it. There. So you can see it is clearly red. It is being blocked. So we used to be able to put them right on top of there. Can't do that anymore. So grass underneath, weed stems above. You know, not too bad. Now for this one, it was 4 walls deep. So this is technically the first wall. And I'll go ahead and put that first wall down. And then we're going to go 3 more off that. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And fill it in. And then we'll go ahead and close this up. Leaving the middle open because it's a different blueprint. Whoops. Because I'm going to put a little window right here. That way it's not super closed in. Now this is where we've had the mushroom gardens. So I had issues when I first put down my lights. So I had to remove some lights in order to get the mushroom gardens laid out to where they wouldn't do kind of what they're doing right there. Do 1 on each corner, front and back, and then kind of just split the difference. Same thing on this side. I know a lot of people probably don't use mushroom gardens anymore. I don't really use them either. But like I said, this is the base that, for me, started it all. This is where I started off at. Now we're going to go up to the next floor where we had all the jerky racks. We're going to do the same thing. Throw down all the floor real quick. Yes, that's what I wanted. Thank you. That's what I thought. So, just to give me a chance, this is one way up. You jump from rock to rock. That's why you don't want to have that too far back, because you'll block that way up. So we're going to go up here. Let's lay down. Oh, I'm already on that one. Might as well. Go back to these. Now this one we'll block the middle, because that's the doorway right there. Only reason I don't have the stairs directly in front of that door where you kind of maybe had a walkway out a little bit and had the stairs right here. I kind of wanted to leave the middle area open. Now for this one, I would recommend putting your lights in first. Let me go to the lights downstairs. The way I did the lights was I used the center of the weed stem wall, which guess would help if I'd have done that first. And then because it's 4 wide, I went to the 2 in the middle, since I kind of didn't need one in the corner already. Same thing. Nice thing about the weed stem walls is it's very easy to line up your stuff in the exact same spot, as far as height and everything. Or at least very close to it, so it's quite noticeable that you did that on purpose. Alright, now that we have our lights in there, because I totally forgot those a second ago. Now, once again, lights, because jerky racks are a bit more of a pain to put lights behind, as well as not everybody farms Bombardier parts very easily. When I built this, I had no problem with it, but you'll also be 1 light short of the setup you had downstairs because of the opening of the door. Now, this had a bunch of jerky racks in it, and if you've watched my 21 aphid kill with 1 arrow video, you're going to want a bunch of jerky racks. Now I can fit 5 along this way, and you can reach all the way to the back, even from the end. So in other words, you can reach all 3 of them from right here. You don't have to stand directly in front of it. That's why you're able to basically cram these in here. So I have 1 at each end. I'm going to put 1 right in the center, and then I'll split the difference on either side. And that'll be 5. And then we'll spin it around and put 2 along this wall. That way when you come up the stairs, you can easily move in and you can reach all 3 pieces of meat very easily from right here. Now, I'm going to jump on a jerky rack to make it a little bit easier to get up top. That is not the piece I wanted. I wanted the squared roof corner. To go there. There. And 1 more. And then the rest of this will be regular roof pieces. So, that is how I set up my original main base, like the base that started it all. There are several ways up here. Like I said, this is one of them, from this rock onto here. However you get on this rock is fine. That's the way up. There's another way up, round back this way, as long as you don't cut down that blade of grass. So you go from this rock onto this blade of grass, onto the rock. The most consistent way up is if you decide to build back here. And you can literally build right off this rock. I don't know why it's going over there. Just trying to raise it up as high as I can. Because I wouldn't mind having this go all the way down here. But see, that becomes a problem. So you might want to line that up however you want. Or you can just do like that and just jump on it. And then if I aim this a little bit differently, it won't take as much grass to get there. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm going to change the angle on this just a bit. And there you go. So you can basically just do it to where you jump up and you run up. And then you come into your base. And if you want to put a bounce tower or some sort of zipline tower or an elevator or however you build your way up to your towers for your zip lines, you can put the anchor right up top. Let me go up there and I'll show you kind of where I'm talking. So unless you have bases built back there, you can put your anchor right here in the front. And then bounce web tower around. Now this one could work with a 6-sided one. When I originally built this, I put way more. And then, you know, you just continue up. See, so that becomes a bit of a problem. I would still leave this area right in front of me open at the bottom, so that when you zip in, you have a way to get out of the tower. This is the more expensive 10-sided one. You could do a little hexagon. So actually, let me tear all that down. Watch it not tear down correctly because creative's being weird. And if so, if it doesn't fall, I'll pause, clear it all out, and come right back. Okay, so let me pause real quick. Let me clear that. I'll be right back. Okay, now that I deleted all the floating walls, probably the cheapest one that I have, cheapest design I have, is a 6-sided one. I would leave that spot open. I'd probably wind up leaving both of these sides open for simple reasons. Let me go ahead and just build the first 3 levels. I'm not going to do the whole tower. If you guys want to check out the design I'm talking about, I will link the video in the description below. I can't talk today. For my zipline tower design video. And you would have your bounce web, you know, back here. And your incoming zipline anchor could be right here. That way, if you're ziplining in from that direction, you zipline in, and you basically go right into here. Because I don't think you can fit a handrail right here. Oh, you can. So when you zip in, it's just one less chance of you flying off in that direction. You can still zip in from, you know, anywhere in the yard except from by, you know, the bees. That still might be workable. You could also just add a little platform and move this over too. It's up to you. And then yeah, you can keep going up, build your tower off the top of your house. No, there's not a really great way to get up there. You would basically run up the stairs, go through the main living area, jump on the patio furniture, balcony furniture, and you're in your bounce web tower. So that is the base that started it all for me. There used to be 2 of these, and there was another one mirrored right next to it, but it got really cluttered right through here, really closed off, and I didn't use the top half of the building anyway, so I tore it down and put everything all in one, and it still made everything work quite nice. But if you guys like this content, would like to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. And until the next video, y'all have a good one.